Now, I know our Democratic friends are frustrated. Prior attempts to pass a constitutional amendment limiting political speech have failed spectacularly, hitting a high water mark of 40 votes in 2001. The Supreme Court has also spoken clearly and emphatically that under the Constitution, free speech isn't limited to corporations that own liberal media outlets. The purpose of the DISCLOSE Act is to get around all of that. If the supporters of this proposal can't suppress individuals or groups, the thinking on the left goes, then they should just go after the funding that amplifies the message. And they'll do it in the old-fashioned way through donor harassment and intimidation. We've seen this kind of thing before, my friends, perhaps most vividly in the 1950s when the state of Alabama tried to get its hands on the donor list of the NAACP. The Supreme Court knew what that was about, which is why they ruled against forced disclosure then. They knew that the forced disclosure of donors mitigated against the rights of free association, because if people have reason to fear that their names and reputations will be attacked because of the causes they support, well, then they're less likely to support them, of course. And that's the last thing we should want in a free society. The FEC, interestingly enough, has applied this same principle, by the way, in protecting the donor list of the Socialist Workers' Party, which most of you probably didn't even know existed. The FEC has supported protecting the donor list of the Socialist Workers' Party since 1979. So we've seen what the loudest proponents of disclosure have intended in the past, and it's not good government. The president likes to say that the only people who oppose disclosure are people who have something to hide. History tells us otherwise. The sad fact is, this kind of government-led intimidation is part of a much broader effort that's been underway within the Obama administration for years. We've seen parallel efforts at suppressing speech at the FCC, the SEC, the IRS, DOJ, and HHS. And the tactics we saw during the 2012 campaign speak for themselves. From the enemies list of conservative donors on the Obama campaign's website to the strategic name-dropping of conservative targets by the president's political advisors. And that's what this proposal is about. It's about harvesting the names of donors in the hopes of driving them off the playing field. We've seen it before, and we're seeing it now. So let me just repeat today what I've said elsewhere on this entire effort. No individual or group in this country should have to face harassment or intimidation or incur crippling expenses defending themselves against their own government simply because that government doesn't like the message they're advocating.